When finding the domain of a radical function, there are two things you need to consider. But first, you need to remember that a radical function has an index n. So if you have the nth root of u, n is the index and u is the radicand. So the two things you need to consider. First, if the index n on a radical is even, then the radicand must be set greater than or equal to 0. Once you do that, solve the inequality, and this result will be the domain of the function. 2, if the index n on the radical is odd, then the radicand can be any real number. This just means that the domain is all real numbers. So first we have the function f of x equals the square root of x plus 7. And right here, we know that the index here is a 2 because it doesn't actually say 2, so it's an understood 2. So we know that this index is even. So we're going to take what's underneath the square root, the x minus 7, and we're going to set it greater than or equal to 0. And then just solve. So add 7 over, x is going to be greater than or equal to positive 7. So that means the domain of this function is going to be positive 7 to infinity. And that's it. Next, g of x equals square root of 3x plus 5. The index here again is a 2, so it's even. So I just take what's underneath the root, 3x plus 5, and I set it greater than or equal to 0. And now I just solve. Subtract 5 over, 3x is greater than or equal to negative 5. Divide by 3, x is greater than or equal to negative 5 thirds. So that means that the domain of this function is going to be negative 5 thirds to infinity. And that's it. Here we have h of x equals the cube root of 2x minus 9. The index here is clearly defined. It's a 3, and 3 is an odd number. So we don't have to do anything with this. The domain, right from the get-go, is just negative infinity to positive infinity, all real numbers. Last, we have s of t equals the fourth root of 3t minus 2. Again, we have an index here that's even. It's a 4. Even if it's a 4, we still treat it the exact same way with any even index. Just take what's underneath the root, 3t minus 2, and set it greater than or equal to 0. And solve. Add 2 over, 3t greater than or equal to 2, divide by 3, t is equal to, or greater than or equal to 2 thirds. So that means the domain is just going to be 2 thirds to infinity. Just remember, any even index, set what's underneath it greater than or equal to 0. Any odd index, it's always going to be negative to positive infinity for the domain.